Hello and welcome. My name is Nick and this is Ocular Unum. Today I thought I'd talk about boundaries. I've seen them mentioned a few times online, and I've also had a recent experience of my own with boundaries. So I thought it would be an opportune moment to talk about them and also a bit about what I came to realize about them that I'd never really considered too much. I hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about them. In the past, I'd always thought of boundaries as these like really solid, hard, rigid walls. The healthy type of boundary that I would like to talk about today, though, is just healthy boundaries and what they mean, what they look like. They don't have a look. They don't have a visual appearance necessarily, but I'll explain that in the analogy that I like to use. I do like to use analogies mainly because it's how I think. I'm always an analogize. Yeah, I'm always making analogies. So, to healthy boundaries. Well, certainly on an energetic level, a healthy boundary is not a rigid structure around your light, because then you don't radiate any light. If you put up a rigid structure, a rigid hard wall, then no light gets out of it, unless it's maybe glass. But you know, um, you know the healthy type of boundary is a boundary where you gather yourself in from where you've scattered yourself to. You gather yourself in energetically to a central point back into your core and hold yourself contained within an imaginary fuzzy boundary. So the analogy that I like to think of is I'm going to totally geek out here. So forgive me for anybody that's not interested in science or astronomy in terms of how the planets form and stars and stuff. But essentially, solar systems start as a massive cloud of just gas and dust. And over time, all of the gas starts to collect and gather and gather, and then it turns into a star. So that's us, the star. Um, but the way stars stay as a star and don't just collapse into a black hole and then consume everything in the solar system is that once they achieve fusion, they begin to shine. So there's an outward push of radiation, which is then pushing everything outwards at a force that then eventually finds a balance point with everything trying to collapse inwards. I'm not going to go into the full technical detail because you can go look into it if you're interested, and I'll save everybody that's not interested in it the pain of listening to me talk about it. So, so yeah, a star essentially doesn't collapse because it is radiating its light outwards and other forms of radiation um, at the same time that everything is trying to collapse inwards, and it finds a balance point, which then becomes what we'd sort of see as the visible boundary to the star. But it's not hard. Like you can go through it, you'll probably get roasted like a marshmallow, more so like badly. You don't. um, but it's not a physical hard boundary. You can get through it. So the essentially we need to look at ourselves the same way and gather all of ourselves inwards to the central core and hold ourselves there so that our light can emit outwards and our love and radiate outwards into the ether. Um, the part that I really like about this analogy and why I use it is because essentially our light can radiate really far, way further than you might ever think. So in my analogy, love is a gravitational form of emotion, or that's what I was looking for, the emotional form of gravity. And that the love that we radiate outwards into the world is what will attract other love towards us, and in doing so, attract other stars, people, into our neighborhood. Somebody once said to me long ago that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And again, using the same spacey analogy, um, any stars that come drifting past will move into our field of influence, which would be like how far our love and light and everything is expanding. And some of them will pass on by. Some people might come into our neighborhood, into our energetic neighborhood, at such a pace that they just carry on moving through. But the important part here is that our love and our gravity affects them to some degree and will influence their course or trajectory or path that they're on. And the closer one gets, the more that path is altered. Happens out in space, happens to us. We're a part of the universe. The universe is a part of us. So why not? Totally works that way. And the closer two bodies come to each other or influence each other to a greater extent, the closer one comes into orbit. To the point that sometimes they might come so close that they go and then just get shot straight back out in the other direction. And that person experiences a complete 180 degrees flip around in the way they see life. It happens. It's happened to me. I've totally had complete 180 flips from meeting people in my life. Maybe not 180s, but really, really steep trajectory alterations. And I've had gentle ones, you know. But then there's the lifetime. So I mean, those are like the reasons and the seasons, and then you get the lifetimes, and the lifetimes are the ones that move together really. They kind of drift really gently, really slowly, and each one's field of influence, their love and their light, their gravities, influence each other gently, slowly, and over time. They might come close and drift away, and then come close, and eventually they'll settle into these stable orbits, and that's essentially what happens with people. And we settle into these stable orbits around each other, but we've never like gone because when that happens, it's complete annihilation. So you never want the two to become one complete single entity, because it's still two unique individuals that are coming together, and they're coming together to co-create something beautiful between each other. So those kind of boundaries are healthy, where it's still an identifiable singular entity and an identifiable singular entity, and they come in and just begin this cosmic dance. Life 101. So then stars have planets that orbit them too. And, those might be aspects of our personalities. And as two bodies come together, or two stars, or two systems, let's call them systems because we've all got parts of our personalities orbiting us, that through the interactions of the two, whatever I'll call them, fields of influence, those parts of our aspects of our personalities may be also influenced, and their orbits around us might be changed or completely, flung off into space, and they become these like rogue objects. Just bye. I mean, imagine they just go poof and disappear or radically change maybe I won't talk about this part of it, but because this is getting a little bit woo woo and out there, and I don't know how it all actually fully ties together. But and I know people are going to have a field day with unity and all of this. Me talking about unique identities and um, but we are still all at unity because we're still within the cosmic field of everything that exists, and God is still a part of us because that's how it all works. But we're just these neatly contained, healthy, shining orbs of love and light that are going around around the universe, um, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um, so yeah, boundaries, walls, bad unless they're absolutely 100% necessary. But like I say, remember that you've put them up, so you can remember to take them down. Because if you do that, if you build a heart, if you build a wall around your heart and never dismantle it, you'll miss out on a lot. And it's better to dismantle those walls and only put them up out of self-preservation. Don't put them up to prevent hurt, or well, don't put them up to prevent yourself from being hurt. I mean, if we're going to love, one has to expect to get hurt. Sometimes that's necessary in order for us to grow and evolve. Um, because turn your heart into a stone is like, again, forgive me for a second, I'm going to geek out again, but it's like building a Dyson sphere around your heart, around your star. And for anyone that doesn't know what a Dyson sphere is, it's a theorized massive object that is built around a star, and it contains and harnesses all the energy of that star to be used by civilization or something. But in this sense, if you've done that, that Dyson sphere is just going to be powering its own imprisonment. So the star is just hidden under the bush. That I always think of that little song from Sunday school. It's like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Can't believe I'm singing, but anyway. And it talks about hide it under a bush. No. But yeah, you got to let your light shine, because that's again why God gave us all light, because He wants us to shine. He wants us to find that brightest, purest light inside of us and just be like powered with rocket fuel and just be like, that's what He wants. He wants all of us to be doing this. And then we'll be like shining our love and our light out into the universe and out into the field of influence. Anyway, boundaries. Yeah, that's my little take on it. And that if we are like stars, then we'll just shine our light and warmth out into the world, and our gravity of love will attract the people that it's going to attract. And some will go be slingshot back out of our solar systems. Others they'll be attracted and find stability within an orbit around us, and they might become our friends and be like wee, and then disappear for a period of time, and then be back, and then disappear, and then be back, and then disappear, and you get the point. Or it could be the ones that come so close that go doing, and those are like X's. They don't, And sometimes the X's are like literally not even flung that far. I mean, they're far, but they might come back. You never know. Um, and then you get the life partners that are. I mean, if you've got a life partner, then yeah, those X's better not come back. But the life partners are the ones that kind of, you might do that and then go, and then gradually over time they kind of just, and then you're just being like in these stable orbits around each other, and you're just like orbiting, and that might be a day, and then that's nighttime and then day, and then um, anyway, healthy boundaries is about gathering our energy inwards to our centralized core, into our heart, but not locking it away. It's not about locking it in with a key and throwing the key away. It's about drawing it all in. And just as stars do, that it can expand and they can contract, and they can expand and contract as we can expand and contract based on our moods, So that's my take on boundaries, and the good ones and the bad ones, and the relationships and love and all sorts of things. All kind of neatly bundled into one pretty analogy. Hope you enjoyed, and got to say thanks for everybody that's liked and subscribed. It is really helping. My channel's growing. Still like a little spout. It's tiny. It's not like that guy yet. He's got lots of leaves, and you guys are like little leaves. He's got loads, but I'm like a spout. But thank you anyway. It's appreciated. I love to see the growth. It gives me the energy to keep doing this and playing the fool, or I don't know. Just I like what this is. So thank you, and kind of just lost all my words, but yeah, I've lost words. Oh dear. The support is appreciated, is the words I was trying to find. There we go. I appreciate all the support and the likes. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a like. And if you want to follow this channel for crazy, weird stuff like this, I'm not going to say they're all going to be like this, but yeah, then subscribe and come along for the journey, because we're all on a journey going through space. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again. You all take care and have a blessed evening and day and week. Anyway, thank you. Love and gratitude. Bye.